For the past 2 weeks I've been studying about evolution, and now I will summarize to you what I have learned about it. I will try to find links to you guys about the stuff that I talk about, so you can go and study them by yourself. So let's start with the evidence. There is really not a single evidence for evolution theory. They are all just theories and assumptions. Even though the school teaches you that they are facts, they are not, since there has been so much new scientific evidences in the past 10 years that they have just revoked those stupid theories that your school books are full of. So let's talk about microevolution. Some of you may think that the microevolution is the proof that macroevolution can happen, that microevolution can adapt so that it becomes macroevolution. But science has found so much new proof and evidences that it can't happen, because mutations, they have walls. You can't mutate a horse to be as tall as a house. Also, the mutations can't write new data, new information. Everything that mutates, it has already been in the DNA. There can't come anything new to its DNA from anywhere. Plus, every evolutional mutation causes devolution. So every time something mutates, it loses information which it can't get back anymore. They have tested this out with bacteria and fruit bees, and they are really the perfect way to test them, because they begin a new generation in every 20 minutes. So they have been able to test hundreds or thousands of generations, and still there has not come even one little new information to any of the mutation. So let's talk about the age of the Earth. One of the most used proof about the millions of years has been radiometric dating, and it's built up on 3 different assumptions that are unprovable, and I will leave a link down in the description so you can check out the 3 different assumptions. It is also an unreliable way to tell the age of anything, because they have used 13-year-old rocks and they have put them into the tests, and the test has told that those rocks are millions and millions of years old. There was also this one time when evolutionary scientists tested out the age of one rock, and they tested it out 41 times, and they rejected 40 of them because they did not support the evolution theory. That's not what science would do. Science would either summarize those results, or it will just reject the whole idea because it's unreliable. But that's what evolutionists do, and it's a fact, and it happens all the time everywhere in the world. One of the proof to the old age of Earth was also the geological formations, where scientists counted from the layers of soil that the Earth is millions and millions or even billions of years old. One of the best against this layer soil dating thing is that St. Helens volcano erupted in 1980, and it made in 3 months a similar kind of canyon like Grand Canyon, which had 180 meters high wall, which is full of layers of soil. Also, 20 years ago, the fossils were the best proof for evolutionists that the evolution is true. But now that the science has found out more about them, it's really the opposite. It's something that evolutionists don't even want to talk about anymore. So let's talk about fossils some more. First of all, the fossils, they have no transformations. They have no transitions to some animal to the next. All the fossils they have found are the animal that it has been made, and that animal that it has always been. They have also found tissue and blood cells from bone marrow of the T-Rex, and tissue does not stay alive millions and millions of years. It should disappear after thousands of years, but it's still there. One of the latest discoveries of proof of evolution was that they found a teeny weeny bump on a whale, and the evolutionists thought that this bump was a leg millions and millions of years ago. First of all, there is no scientific evidence of that, and it does not even resemble a leg, even at all. Also, you might have heard about the Darwin's theory, how the whales have born. He told that the bears liked to swim so much that they swam on the ocean until they became a whale. It sounds ridiculous, but this is what people believe. Actually, not many evolutionists believe that Darwin's theory anymore, but there are still some who believe. Okay, let's talk about human fossils. One of the best evidence for evolution was the Lucy monkey. They called that fossil Australopithecus, and there is really not many evolutionists anymore that believe that it was an ancestor of humans. It was just an ape, and most of the evolutionists accept that fact. Yesterday I saw one clip where an evolutionist took the hip of Lucy and he took a bone saw and made it look like a human hip, and that was the huge proof that it can be a human hip-like hip. Neanderthals. They were wrongly built in 1880 and 50 years later the scientists thought that this is wrong and they built it again. And now it resembles a normal human. It looks just like a normal human being. All that the human fossils tell about is that there is different kind of humans living now, and there is different kind of apes also living here. It's just telling about microevolution, that people can change and mutate a little bit to look different. Laws of physics are something that evolutionists don't like to explain because they are so fine-tuned, and if you just adjust it even one bit, there would be no life on Earth. Also, the science has lately found out that cells cannot come into existence by itself if we believe in the laws of physics and chemistry. Natural selection. There's lots of problems with that. The natural selection can't build wholeness. It can only choose the right mutation that will survive at this moment in life. Natural selection can't make new data, new information. It always has to use the information that has already been there in the DNA. One of the biggest mysteries in science is that how are we aware? How do we have free will? Because it's not just atoms and particles pumping into each other. Science has not found an answer to this. DNA and also many other things like that, cells and atoms and everything, are so complex that evolution could have never ever made them. There has to be something who has designed them. There is also lots of proof that humans have lived side by side with dinosaurs. They have found 11,000 rocks in Peru about dinosaurs, and those rocks has been aged that they are about 3,000 years old. I don't know how they aged them, but still they are pretty old. Also, Alexander the Great has written about huge flying lizards, and so have Marco Polo written about lizards that has crawlings on the ground and in the water, huge lizards. There has also been pictures about dinosaurs all around the world in all kinds of different materials, and the most used picture has been about the biggest dinosaur that there has ever lived, and I don't remember the name of the dinosaur, but I'll leave a picture over here. Let's talk about what is creationist. Creationist is a person who tries to prove the existence of God by using the evidences that science has found that point towards an intellectual designer. Once I received a comment that said that you can trust creationists because they are biased and they don't judge the evidence correctly. But you should know that evolutionists do the same thing. They are also biased, and they just do the assumptions and theories based on the evidence and on their theories and their philosophy. So I urge you to study the evidence itself, because it's the only thing that is unbiased. Evolutionists are really on shallow ground right now against the creationists. Even one of the head leaders of evolutionists has forbid other evolutionists to attend the debates between creationists and evolutionists because they lose over 90% of the times. There was also this one incident when Dr. Don Patton wanted to do a debate with evolutionists, and he sent an invitation to over 150 evolutionists and not one was able to attend it. If you found that there is something wrong with the things that I just told you, please let me know, because I'm not really good at explaining things like this. But all I really want to ask you is that I wonder why they lose all the debates.